With the summer window fast approaching and Newcastle working feverishly to get their main man or main couple guys for the defensive line, we're going to look at tonight who's going to make Newcastle's black and white wall. Find out right here, folks, on Toon Tactics TV.
Oh, brilliant from Schar. And now Murphy can take on the shot. Fabian Schar wins!
All right, all right, all right. How you folks doing? I hope you are well. Man, I've been preparing for tonight's show because I am excited, as always with these things. Like, I'm like, you're doing the research, like, yes, I got this player, I got this profile. And then obviously you get hit with the big news. Well, some people don't really like, might not think of it as big news, but, connections, Newcastle are looking like, for instance, they're looking at a possible a centre back replacement or upgrade on Mr. Schar. And we know that we're looking at a couple of players. We know who it is. Obviously, Jarell Quansah has been mentioned today, and he will feature in tonight's show. It's going to be him and three other centre backs. So that we're going to talk about. We're going to find out how do they match up. Are they the ideal player? We're going to get it from you guys. We're going to get your views. We're going to get your opinions because we're literally, for me, our defensive line, but also including that goalkeeper, for me, I feel like James Trafford is coming as the goalkeeper. And therefore, we are one centre-back or one right centre-back away from having our defensive line sorted, hopefully for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So that new centre back is going to come in, is going to be absolutely pivotal and important to what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be discussing that on tonight's show. But make sure, as always, folks, because I always forget to ask this, please do hit the like button. If you're new, please do subscribe. But let me see and apologies again if I sound like my nose is blocked. It is blocked because I've got a bit of hay fever going on. But we are here, and I'm sure we are ready. All right, I've got a few folks in the chat already. Let me make sure I greet everybody that's coming in. I go right from the top. Prem Time TV, good to see you, sir. Hope you are well. Good evening, Philip. Hope you are well. I am blessed. Living life to the full. Good evening, Mighty Mag. Hope you are well. Good to see you as always, sir. Can't wait to get everybody's. I was going to say, not just you, can't wait to get your views and opinions on some of the centre backs we're looking at. Aaron Cave, Mr. Consistent, good to see you, sir. I hope you're having a blessed day and a blessed evening as well. So Aaron Quansah, so we all agree absolutely no to Quansah. Well, I don't know if you guys saw, I was posting, I was joking with Mitch, obviously our special guest who came in last couple of shows. Imagine Newcastle bringing Noni Madueke and Jarell Quansah this window. I feel like how's everybody going to react? I feel like I'm going to have a whole show dedicated to have a therapy session with everybody if we get a Jarell Madueke. But let's hold our thoughts. Let's hold our judgments a little bit. Maybe people know on social media. I'm a little bit. I don't know. Maybe somebody can explain to me why there's such a. I guess people haven't really taken to the Jarell Mensah news. No one's really happy about that. Well, not a lot anyway. So I wonder what to get you guys' views on. We are going to discuss him, and so I would. So hopefully we'll see where we go from there. But I would like to know your thoughts, just your initial thoughts on him, and let's see how we go. Well, Noya, good to see you, sir. God bless you. Hi, Philip. Evening to the chat. Sophie B, good to see you. Hey, Philip, hope you are well. I'm blessed. I am blessed. I've got a bit of a hay fever, but it's all good. It's all good. Prem Time TV, just don't mention Madueke after last night. Sophie won't like it. Well, we might have a summer of Madueke and Jarell Quansah. Sophie's laughing there. I'm ready to give you guys a full-on therapy session should that happen. All right, Mighty Man. Good. Oh yeah. Sorry, read that one. Everybody's greeting each other. Good. Did I miss anybody out? Not as much. Quansah lacks. Okay, so nice. So got Quansah lacks aggression for my liking. He is promising though. All right. Jordy Z. Just before I start, Jordy Z. Good to see you. So evening, mate. Sorry I haven't been on much work. I know how it is. It was good to see you Tuesday as well. So I know how it is, but it's always a blessing to see you. You're one of the original guys that came on here. So I'm always delighted to see you. All right. So I want to lay the groundwork. I am going to be discussing 3 centre backs today, guys. But I want to lay the groundwork today. I want to make sure that I kind of give some firm foundations to this, and so not just throw out names out there. I want to give a bit of a foundation to what we're doing today. I want to kick off with first. I want to give a big up to, and because I'm going to be using this gentleman's kind of framework, because his name is. Let me share the screen with you guys. Can you see it? Yes, you can. So this is Joe Pearce. He's a scout. I forgot where he scouts at. I think it's for what team it is. But he's a fantastic gentleman. And I do, guys. He's on X as well. I first knew about him through Sean Casey. I need to put his details in the description. But I do encourage you guys to read his article. It's free. Where he did an article in February the 5th, so a month ago now, excuse me, around Newcastle United centre back recruitment, a data-led approach. So he kind of laid a foundation for at the time. This is before everything about what's the bet. Kind of did a really good and comprehensive analysis of the type of centre back that Newcastle should look for. He looked at our team. He looked at everything. I'm going to actually give you the framework of what I'm going to be looking at, actually, where he's given a really good structure of how he's going to do this. So I'm going to first share that with you. So I want to make sure he gets he gets a special thanks from me. Because I really love the way he made this comprehensive article. If you guys haven't read it, it's Joe Pearce. I'm going to put it in the description after the show. Let me make sure I find how I do it, because he did it in a really, really great way. Oh, not this. But not this one. So let me make sure I take it off. So basically, he talked about. Let me first take it off. Put it so kind of get you guys a feeling of how I'm going to structure the show and why I'm going to be talking about the players in the way that I'm going to be talking about them. So Mr. Joe Pearce did a really good framework for how he did it. So I'm going to be talking about, where is it? A couple things. So I'm going to be talking about, is it this one? Oh, they're all labeled. Okay, but I'm going to first talk about Fabian Schar, because obviously the centre-back that's going to come in is going to replace Fabian Schar. So we're going to be able to talk about Fabian Schar's strengths, his weaknesses, what he brings to the team, which is important for us to know, and give us an idea of the type of centre-back that Newcastle are going to bring in. Hopefully a little bit of an upgrade, but where he's going to upgrade. But also, Fabian has, as we know, really, really key strengths, and we want to make sure whoever we bring in has some of those strengths as well. Why? Because that centre back is going to be partnering with Sven Botman, and Sven Botman and Schar complement each other in a really, really unique ways and good ways for Newcastle United. So it's also important for us to think about that when we bring in a centre back, they have the skills and qualities to be able to complement Sven Botman, because obviously he's going to be our first team centre back. So I'm focusing on Botman rather than Burn, but it's not there's differences, but not overly too many differences. So I'm kind of giving you guys a flavour of what we're looking at. And finally, Is there a way? So yeah, the profile, and this is from Joe Pearce himself. So he looked for the profile that he looked at was obviously a right-footed centre back, which is obviously self-explanatory because that's what we need. Right centre back with progressive passing. Again, key component of Mr. Schar, athleticism, defensive and defensive versatility. So someone that can handle 1v1 situations and has that youthful potential. Has got example of 23, 27, but I think we're going to go for something a little bit younger than that. So again, laying the foundation there, guys, letting you know that this is what we're looking at. And it's important also to, we're going to obviously talk about how Fabian Schar's skills and core strengths help us in our style of play. Obviously, help Newcastle United and how we play. The last thing I wanted to show as well, and kind of, again, lay the foundation for what we're doing, make sure that we don't run out of battery. Here we go. Right, so the last thing, or last couple of things I wanted to show is talk a little bit, give a little bit of an up on, I wanted to show a clip. Yeah, okay, here we go. And I wanted to share a clip. I wanted to something on Eddie Howe and a little bit of something on Mr. Paul Mitchell. Again, just laying the groundwork a little bit for the players before we kind of present the players and we talk about them. Is it this one? Is this one? Right, so make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. So where did I bookmark? Or is it not this one? I thought it'd be this one. Let me go back. Here we go. Let me show this one. So there's a video I saw on Mr. Howe where they talked about him. And again, some of you guys might have seen it. I thought it was important to show. Here we go. Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. So excellent. So there's a video here. I forgot who the gentlemen are, where this clip is taken from. And I don't it says TAC TX. And I think the gentleman the interviewer is speaking from is either a recruiter or someone or a scout that's worked alongside Eddie Howe. And so I want to make sure we hear this because obviously some of it we already might have known, but I want to be able to kind of again lay the groundwork of where we're coming from on these on these players, and whoever comes in at the end, it's important for us to have a little bit of background. That I think essentially what I'm saying is that Eddie Howe would have had a big role in the players that come in, but also Paul Mitchell. So let me play this video clip first.
The manager trusts the recruitment department, but then there's also other managers that do trust them but want to do their own research. And I think you mentioned to me briefly off camera that Eddie Howe was really thorough in the player recruitment aspect.
Yeah, Eddie was almost he probably did more work than a scout on a player.
Wow. So Eddie Howe almost done more work than a scout on a player. So that's how thorough Eddie Howe is.
He was truly remarkable in the work he did on players.
Just like video or like constant.
But you have to think about it, why it's important, because we know that Eddie Howe takes his team, but also himself, obviously, take real time. Like we know time in developing and in improving his players. Ask Lewis Hall. Even himself said that Eddie Howe and the team worked on him. To the point where Lewis Hall himself thought that he was rubbish. He didn't even say that word. He thought they thought that he was rubbish, and it wasn't. They thought that when he asked them, "Do you guys think I'm rubbish?" He said, "No." They said, "No, we think you're amazing, but this is why we want to take that time with you."
Watching players in person.
He would go to games live to scout a player, and I think I think most managers are like that because. They're the ones that are investing the time into that player.
Right.
So they're going to be with them.
He's going to be investing all those hours into that player. So he wants to make sure it's the player that player is worth the time, is worth the effort, and that is absolutely important and vital. So Eddie Howe has a real person. We know this, but I just wanted to kind of outline this, that Eddie Howe has a real personal investment, a real personal interest in the players that they're bringing in. So no matter who it is, folks, whether we like them or we don't like them, there'll be players that I'm not overly keen on. But I know from just listening to this that, and obviously the stuff that we know before, that this is going to be Eddie Howe's guy, whoever it is. This is going to be Eddie Howe's guy. And the last thing is the article from the iNewspaper, which touches a little bit on it, well, not a little bit, but it gives. I wanted to get a particular excerpt from this. I wanted to get a particular. Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see that, of where Paul Mitchell is coming from on this, and his. This is the new. I think this was the article that was from yesterday. And there's one thing I wanted to be able to say on this, is this part. So interest is one thing. So they're talking about, so the article talks about obviously Newcastle's targets and where they're coming from. There's Newcastle. They went for the list of Mbeumo, Francisco Trincao, Dean Huijsen, and all these type of players. And then they kind of got to this little excerpt, and they've got a quote from someone from a rival club, from a rival recruitment executive, so really high up, from a rival club who knows Paul Mitchell. And this is what this executive said. So interest is one thing. So whether Mitchell signs off on those sort of targets is another matter. One rival, this is Mark Douglas quoting the executive, one rival recruitment executive that the paper spoke to believed that Newcastle United director of football would likely favour the foreign market and look for players with room to develop. Interesting. So this is the quote. People talk about the likes of Dean Huijsen and Newcastle's interest, but every director of football wants to get Huijsen for £12 million. His last fee last summer, rather than the 50 million he is now. The point being is not to say we know he's 50 million now, but we want to get him for 12 million. The point being is we would have liked to get Dean Huijsen before he went to Bournemouth, right? And we talked about Mark Gahey, for instance. We would have preferred to get Mark Gahey before he went to Palace. We would have liked to get there's other centre backs we're going to talk to before, those raw talents, those raw gems, before they went to those other clubs, became a little bit more established, and their potential became a little bit more realised, a lot more realised. People can see now from Real Madrid, for instance, in Dean Huijsen's case, you've got people the likes of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, and ourselves, obviously, who are all in for this kid. It's reminding me of the Michael Olise situation of last year, where you had all these, obviously he was in the release clause as well, I think £60 million, and Newcastle put their hat in, but we were up against Bayern Munich, we were up against Chelsea, we were up against a lot of other really like Champions League elite teams. I'm glad we still rivaled them. But the point being is, wouldn't it have been better to get your Michael Olise before he went to Crystal Palace? Wouldn't it be better, like, again, in this same case, wouldn't it be better to get Dean Huijsen before he went to Bournemouth? Now, hindsight is a beautiful thing. No one, we're looking at Dean Huijsen now saying, wow, look how amazing he is. Why didn't we get him before? But at the time, because I remember talking about him as well in one of my shows, is that at the time he was coming off of, we're going to talk about Dean Huijsen, spoiler alert, he was coming out either Roma or Juventus. I think Juventus, he was obviously, then I think he was loaned out to Roma. He only played 10 minutes at Roma. Most of his stuff was at like under 21s, under 20 games were under 21s and 23 level. We got Lloyd Kelly instead because we went for a safer option. But this is where Paul, we're going to trust the Paul Mitchell side of things and say, he's going to be like saying, hey, we've got these gems, we're going to be working on them. Eddie Howe's going to have to trust it. We as fans are going to have to trust it as well. So I wanted to kind of lay the groundwork with Joe Pierce's article to kind of lay the foundation of how we're going to be doing tonight's show, but also because of his really comprehensive scouting report that he did for Newcastle centre back as well. But also I wanted to kind of reflect where Eddie Howe's coming from, where, hey, he's really meticulous. We know that because he wants to know, he's very thorough in the centre backs not the centre backs, just in the player recruitment himself, because he's going to be investing a lot of time in them, and they've got to work. From his perspective, they've got to make an impact on the first team. And then Paul Mitchell's case is, rather than paying, because Paul Mitchell's also representing the club as Eddie Howe is, from a perspective, not just a financial perspective, but also from a squad perspective. We can't just keep on buying 50, 80 million, 100 million pound players. We need to get your Dean Huijsens at 12 million to the point where they become 50, 60 million. Like, that's, because we've just been through PSR. We just can't buy 50 million pound players all the time, 60 million pound players all the time. And we're good. And so the both of them, Eddie Howe and Paul Mitchell, primarily I'm kind of focused on, have to trust each other a bit apart their opinions. When Paul Mitchell says to Eddie, hey, I know he's from, this particular gem is from overseas, this particular player is from overseas, and they lack Premier League experience, but I'm telling you, they're really, really good. And from Eddie Howe's perspective is, hey, Paul, I've checked this guy out. I've got a little bit of background on him, and I don't think he's going to work. I don't think he's worth the time. I don't think he is going to respond to the training and to the development the way we need him to. So they're going to have to trust each other and find a ways to go forward. So I wanted to be able to lay out that foundation to you folks of where we're going with the show and what we're doing, to make sure that we get the best out of this kind of tonight's show, to get the best out of how we're looking at these players, how we're analysing these players as well. So before we get into our first player, I'm going to read a few of your chats to get your take on things and where you're at as well. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Sophie B. I'm not a fan of Quansah Link either. Yeah. A few people haven't been, more than a few really. Sophie B. Huijsen, Bakayoko, and Delap are our 3 targets. I read somewhere, and I think Trafford is done. Yeah, Trafford is done. Well, that's what Craig Hope said. And yes, you have read it correctly, Sophie. I forgot what article it is, but I actually posted it as well myself. I forgot what article it was. I think it was the iNewspaper, Sophie. I think it was Mark Douglas. Prem Time TV, not a fan of Quansah either. For a fact, the Liverpool will sky the price or will demand Isak in return. They already have. Well, on that, Prem Time, I was gonna wait for it to mention for Quansah, but if folks remember when we first heard of Quansah, it was last summer when we were on the verge of 48 hours away from selling Mr. Anthony Gordon. And we, being Newcastle, not Liverpool, we requested for Quansah. We said, we will give you Anthony Gordon for 40 million and Jarell Quansah. It's not that Liverpool said, hey, we'll give you X amount of money and we'll throw in Jarell Quansah. We requested for Jarell Quansah. So for us to do that, on the back of everything I've mentioned, Eddie Howe, obviously, Mr. Mitchell I can't remember. I don't think Paul Mitchell had come in at the time, so I'm going to leave him out of it. But that would have been Eddie Howe's first pick. So I'll leave that there. Aaron Cave, to be fair to us, we did target Quansah during the cup final. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's young. We did it. I don't know if you guys remember. This is guys for the oldies. I remember when Declan Rice, I think he made his at least Premier League debut against us, and we targeted him against West Ham as well. So he's there when they're young, and they haven't got Premier League experience. The right thing is to kind of target them on the pitch as well. Sophie B, yeah, I think that Quansah doesn't read the game very well, to be honest. Okay, yeah. Well, hold to that thought, Sophie. Hold to that thought. Onaya, Aaron Lewis Cook out of position, played better than him. Sophie B, if we could get a younger Schar, that would be great. Ball playing centre back with a bit of better defensive quality and doesn't lose concentration. I like that. I like that profile. Aaron Cave, our next CB has to be someone of the Kushanov mold. Yep. Yeah, we know that was the target. That's the target that we had during the January window, isn't it? I think his attributes are what we are looking for. Someone fast and aggressive and a good on the ball. Yes, exactly. And Sophie agrees with you there as well. Prem Time TV, why not look at the youth like a Herfanen? I don't know if he's... And that's the thing, Prem Time. I'm not going to say because I don't have that much... I don't see those guys play enough, so I can't say if he's good enough. Let me know, and I'm sure he'll make it to the team. Aaron Cape, Herfanen definitely has a potential to expect him to play Premier League football is a big ask. Okay, so Aaron does know a little bit more about him. So if the summer ends up being Madueke Quansah, I will not be happy, girl. I can only imagine. What's wrong? Unai, what's wrong with Madueke? Well, that's what I'm asking as well. I personally like Madueke. Prem Time TV, bring him in the first team, train him up. I think that's her for them, right? Train him up like how to do with Hall. Slowly introduce him, job done. But yeah, he is 19. Bung him out on the loan to Championship or newly promoted team and develop him. Yeah, I agree. Couple more before we get into our first player. Mighty Win, good to see you, sir. God bless you. How do you feel? How do you feel in Eddie we trust? Adrian Pickett, barring a standout loan, don't see her. Okay, yeah. We need him. We need him to get. Oh, by the way, Adrian, good evening to you, sir. God bless you. Hope you're well. He's a Unaya. He's a 1v1. Very good after that. Oh, is that reference to Madueke? He's a very good 1v1. Onaya, won't the homegrown quota for Europe be a factor? It will be, and I think that's why we're keeping players like Ruddy and stuff like that. And I think they'll know that. I think that's why I would have. I think we'll promote Alex Murphy, for instance, who's currently alone on Bolton as well. So I think we'll have the homegrown kind of not nailed down, to be honest. So if it was Gomez, wasn't it? It was Gomez, but again, it came from the Iron newspaper. It was Gomez, but it was Quansah. I'm sure it was Quansah as well. Somebody fact checked me on that. Pretty sure it was in the Iron newspaper. And they were talking about it being Jarell Quansah or Gomez or both. I think, I can't remember. Natalie Walkins. Natalie, good to see you. Good evening. Hope you're well. Hey guys, hope everyone is well. We are indeed. We're about to start on our first player. And that is going to be it is Mr. Nathan Collins. I'm going to show you a picture in a moment. But for those that aren't aware, Nathan Collins is a centre back that plays for Brentford. Now, I'm going to first show the link that's come from NUFC blog, the talk of the Toon. It's come from there from Ollie Hawkins. I say Ollie Watkins. He's a striker. So there's a picture of Nathan Collins. My apologies, guys. I went straight down to the part I wanted to take a quote from. So this is an exclusive from NUFC blog from Ollie Hawkins. I'll keep on saying Watkins. Ollie Hawkins. My apologies to you, sir. Newcastle Iron summer move for Brentford's Nathan Collins. Now, so Newcastle's watching Nathan Collins. Newcastle Iron are taking a close look at Brentford centre-back Nathan Collins. NUFC blog can exclusively reveal the 23-year-old is considered one of the Premier League's most underrated defenders in some recruitment circles, and Newcastle have sent scouts to watch the former Wolves and Burley man in recent months. I wonder if Eddie Howe was a secret scout. A towering Republic of Ireland international who often captains his country, Collins ticks several boxes in the club's ongoing search for a right-sided centre-back and is expected to receive interest from a number of top-flight sides this summer. While Newcastle scouts have visited the GTEC Community Stadium this season to do checks on potential right-wing target Brian Mbeumo, we can reveal that Collins also caught the club's eye. So why? I'm going to touch a little bit on the why, because we are going to do a profile of him anyway. So a move for Collins may underwhelm some supporters after ongoing links with Bournemouth's highly rated teenage Dean Huijsen. That's a very good point. Now that people obviously been attached to Dean Huijsen, Newcastle's name, by Fabrizio Romano, every big tier journalist, Dean Huijsen. Anything after that, and that's my suspicion. When we're talking about Jarell Quansah, now we're talking about Nathan Collins, any other centre back, any people, I feel like, and this is just my interpretation, people are just thinking, oh, but he's not Dean Huijsen, so it's just underwhelming. So I think maybe that's my take. Maybe that's why people are disappointed. But there is a lot to like about the Brentford defender. The 6'4" centre half is dominant in the air at both ends of the pitch, and his mobility for a man of his size goes under the radar, highlighted by his classy display against dynamic and direct Bournemouth attack in Brentford's 2-1 win at the Vitality last Saturday. On the ball, he is reliable and comfortable stepping out, while his age, Premier League experience, and leadership skills will also appeal to Eddie Howe. So let's take a closer look at that. His age and Premier League experience. We will have a little closer look at that on transfermarket.com. And remind me, folks, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was you, Natalie. Let me know. To always look at the injury record as well, which is very, very important. So we'll be doing that on here. Where are you? That's Jarell's. Here we go. Nathan Collins. I don't know if you guys have looked at Nathan Collins before. I watched a good couple of games of him. I do like him. Right, so he's obviously Republic. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Is it big enough? Do I need to zoom in? I'll zoom in a little bit. It's not huge. Right, so Nathan Collins, born April the 30th. He's 23 years old, so he's going to be 24 next month. He's going to be 24, 1.93 meters tall, so 6'4". He's absolutely huge. Republic of Ireland, or it says Ireland, Ireland international, Ireland international centre back. He has got 28 caps and scored 2 goals. So good experience there. Currently, he's played 29 Premier League appearances, 4 yellow cards, 2 goals, and 1 assist. Not bad for a centre back. Has been the starting 11. I think he's played in all their games by the looks of it, and has played 100 minutes as well. So his availability has been absolutely really, really, really good. Let me see this. Is that where it is? Let me go back. Right, so I thought I saw something different. Right, so his current contract runs out in June 2029. So whatever price you pay for him is going to have to be the full whack. I think it's up for for 30 million. I think he is. He's currently valued as 28 million euros, so about 24 million pounds. But I think Brentford will be looking at 30 to 40 million for him. Really good pedigree internationally. Has been playing for Ireland from the under-15s all the way up to the senior squad. So that's really, really good pedigree from him, international pedigree for him, and it kind of already shows that he's got good experience. He's got really, he's got a good, very likely to have very good foundational skills, basic skills as well, foundational skills as a player. Kicked things off in 2016 pairing for a cherry orchard in Ireland. Before he went off to Stoke under 18s, moved up through their ranks to the under 21s before making it to the senior team. But then I don't know how many games he played there. How many players did he play at Stoke? EFL. We'll look it up. Before he literally went 2 years. Yeah, he went he left Stoke after 2 years really. Although his market value was £8 million, he was sold for £14 million to Burnley, and was playing for Burnley from 2021 to 2023, where then he went from Burnley to Wolves, was valued at £10 million, but then according to transfermarket.com, but was sold for £24 million, £24.3 million to Wolves, where he played again for another year before being picked up by Brentford for £26 million. So his transfer market has steadily been going up each and every time. Really, really. So he's quite a steep rise ish. Like he hasn't stayed around too long. Clubs have been picking up pretty swiftly. I was trying to find out how long he played at Stoke for. So yeah, here we go. He did 47 games at Stoke, scored 3 goals and 1 assist. Obviously, he's currently at Brentford, has already played 68 games for them, 4 goals, 2 assists. And he played at Wolves, did 31 games, like a whole season before moving away. Did 27 games under 21s for Stoke. Only played 22 games. Played 22 games for Burnley, but that's my kind of point. He's been moving quite steadily up. So his talent has been, to me, kind of indicates that his talent has been spotted quite fairly on. Hadn't spent too much time in the Championship, obviously, 39 games. Played most of his games now at the Premier League. Has played 106 games in the Premier League, so very, very experienced for someone of his age. Isn't 20? He's going to be 24 this year, but really, really, really good experience for him in this current state as well. So really, really interesting background. Experienced Premier League player. Not quite 24 yet, but has already played 106 games in the Premier League. Played for Wolves. Played for, obviously, currently playing for Brentford as well. So some really, really good numbers there. It's very much been available. He's played every single minute for Brentford this season as well. Oh, I forgot. Injury record, which reminds me, injury record before we move on. But he has played every single game for Brentford this season. So that is really, really positive. Where are you? Injury history. Let's zoom in a little bit here. What does it say? What do we have? Okay, so his kind of injury history is minimal in my opinion, but kind of like, so 2020, the most significant ones was 2020-2021 season, where he missed 69 days. He missed around 20 games, and that's when he fractured his metacarpal. He had a metacarpal fracture. I need to look up what metacarpal is, but it sounds serious. So he missed quite a few games there, obviously 20 games missed. And then 23-24 season, 69 days he missed. He had 2 injuries and in that period, and he missed 8 games. Otherwise, a few hamstring. He had a hamstring injury as well. So that's part of it. So yeah, he missed 3 games. So part of that injury history where he missed, he had a carpal fracture. He had also a hamstring fracture in that 21-20 season. Sounds like a really hard season for him. And that was during the Stoke days. I think he was under 21s at that period as well. The under 21 period. He got over that. So what's that? 5 years ago. So that's not bad. And then obviously 23-24 season, he had an ankle injury and another unknown injury as well. So it's not bad for someone that's been pretty much playing since 4 or 5 years now. I think that's a good history, and the fact that apart from the hamstring injury, it hasn't been reoccurring, which is positive to see. That's pretty good. So what's you guys thought so far? I'm gonna go into his profile a little bit before kind of breaking down him a little bit more. But let me just read a few of your comments before I go any further. They offered us Gomez, so Primetime TV, they offered us Gomez, but we told them where to stick it as Gomez is too injury prone. We said Quansah, they said no. So that's a telltale. That's a bit of a telltale. Thanks for clarifying that, Primetime. Natalie Wilkinson, Malik Chow. Oh yeah. What about him? Weren't we interested in but last season or something? We were, and I think one of the stories I heard was that Paul Mitchell wasn't too big on the price for him. I think he's been proven right. I haven't seen Malik Chow recently, to be honest, but I think the days of us spending, I think AC Milan were asking a little bit too much for him. Natalie Wilkinson, isn't Nathan Collins the one who injured Joe Linton in his face? Oh, yeah, was he? He might have been. I remember the facial injury to Joe Linton. I can't remember who did it. Was it Nathan Collins? I think it might have been. We need pace. Does he have that? Yes, he does. He does. He really does. Aaron Cave Collins is a very underrated centre-back who's gone under the radar. He breaks lines with ease and is very decent. Yes, on the ball. I have concerns though about his aggressiveness to play in our system. Yeah, and I think that's where coaching comes into it. And I think that's really good observation, Aaron. I think that's where coaching comes into it. And I have no doubt that Eddie Howe can solve that, can work on that, Primetime TV, Wilkinson, we agreed everything for Chow, but he didn't want to come to us, saying he wasn't big enough, but he regrets it now. I don't know if he did say that, I'll be amazed. I can't remember him saying that, but possibly. The one thing I heard was that Paul Mitchell pulled the plug on that deal. Unai Collins would be a solid choice. Yeah, Adrian Pickett, Collins might be the one. How much? I think anywhere between 30 to 40 million. I think Brentford paid 23 million. They did. You know they're gonna want to make a good profit on him. Unai, surely 35 million. Yeah, I think somewhere in that range. Long contract though, I reckon Brentford would want 45 million. William Smith, good to see you, sir. God bless you. Hard pass on Collins, decent player, but if we are going to step up to a high level, I can't see him part of it, dependable but lowerish ceiling. Okay, in my opinion. Fair play to you. Thank you for sending that through, William. Good to appreciate you for that. Unai, lower ceiling, yes, but he raises the floor. Could be a rotation for Schar. Good take there. Aaron Cape, think of the price Brentford would demand. That we are better off looking in Europe. Okay, yeah. Adrian Pickett, who are you fancy, William? Okay, you guys talking about yourself there. Good. One last one from William Smith. Don't have any names. Trust like scouts. Give them a profile and let them do their job. Probably better value in Europe. Okay, so a few of you guys are already looking at Europe. All right, so let me just get back to Mr. Nathan Collins' profile there. Where are you? Was it this one? Yes. So I'm going to read a little bit about him and then break him down a little bit more. So this is from Breaking the Lines. I do like to read them. This is in 2023. So this is 2 years ago. This is when he was still playing for Wolves. And Brentford, I think, had either bought him or he was very much on the precipice of joining them. And they kind of explain why Brentford went for him. So Thomas Frank's side finished 9th last season, just 3 points away from European qualification. And with only the top 4 conceding fewer than their 46 goals. So they had a solid defense. They owe much of the success to a watertight defense. So why pay? Great question. So why pay 23 million? So they had already paid for him. Why pay 23 million for a player with just a handful of top-level experience? And we've talked about just how pretty steep Mr. Collins' rise has been. Well, this is a squad with an aging backline. Does this sound familiar to you guys? This is a squad with an aging backline whose foundations are forged in the Football League. And whilst they've more than held their own since promotion in 2021, a change in the guard appears in order, just like Newcastle. And Collins represents the next generation. A centre-back who, so let's tell us why. A centre-back who thrives with the ball at his feet, Collins brings a refreshing front-footedness to a defence that has survived on willpower alone for long enough. And sometimes we can all, well, I certainly think we have been going through, we have survived on willpower. Without looking to downplay the efforts of Ethan Pinnock, Ben Mee, and Matthias Jørgensen, Brentford ranked 5th for shots blocked, but 19th for touches taken in the Premier League last season. A comparison indicative of their back-to-back wall style of defending. So it's been laid out. They've got good defense, decent defense, but it's aging. They're very much always on the back foot. And Brentford want to step into they want to evolve as a team, and they want some front footedness. They want pretty much a modern centre back who is good on the ball and can push them up the field. So they defend deep, as they say here. They defend deep, soak up pressure, and counter-attack with ruthless efficiency. A tactic that serves its purpose, but for a team as ambitious as Brentford has its drawbacks. Frank's men need more control of the ball, and Collins offers that. The 6'4" centre-half averages an 88% pass completion rate. This is obviously in 2023. Of Brentford's centre-back options, only Mee, at 80.3%, managed to record a pass completion rate above 80%, but this doesn't mean he keeps it simple. Collins is just as comfortable playing long as he is short. And whilst Brentford appear to be prioritising possession ahead of their new season, which was obviously last season, they won't abandon their identity overnight. And with Collins at the heart of their defence, Frank knows he can seamlessly switch between a more passive and active approach, whilst the rest of the team adapts, very similar to Newcastle. We're very good at counter-attacking, but we also like to be front-footed. Comfortable at what was it? That's what Schar provided us. So we're a little bit ahead in our evolution as a team compared to Brentford. Comfortable at driving so this is on Collins. Comfortable at driving with the ball or breaking the lines of his range of passing. Collins hasn't forgotten the fundamentals of defending. So I'm going to read the final bit here before I go into his quote. At the end of the day, I'm a defender. This is Collins, and I have to hit the ball, win it, and win with my challenges. He noted in an interview with Brentford's website. His imposing frame rarely sees him bullied out of challenges, and we'll see that in his stats. Whilst the education at Burnley and Wolves means Collins is no stranger to the defensive dark arts. He's come to the right team for that if he comes to Newcastle, much of which he has learnt alongside me, who Collins regards as a huge influence on his career. So really, really, really interesting background on Mr. Collins. He came into Brentford to modernise their backline and to improve their backline. And I want to add this, and I want to add a little bit more here, because this is a quote from last year, or is it this year, from Brentford, from Brentford's own website, where they're talking about how the team has evolved. And I want to show it right here. Here we go. So Brentford's style over recent seasons has been gradually shifting to a hybrid approach that aligns direct football, as we know from Brentford before, to pressing high on the front foot. And who's helped with that? It's Mr. Collins, with capacity to exert greater control of games, often through spells of possession in their own half. And it's Mr. Collins who helps with that. And obviously they've been able to step up with that. So this gives a little bit of a kind of detail on where Collins is been able to help Brentford, and is likely to also help Newcastle, not only in his dual winning air and on the ground, but also obviously his ball possession, being able to hit the ball passes long and short. His athleticism, his speed, and his recovery are also going to be a big part of that. So I forgot to get into this, but I'm going to go a little bit back to go forward, because obviously he's going to be taking up. Is he an upgrade on Mr. Schar? Because we're going to be matching up all the centre backs to Mr. Schar. Because if they're not as good as Mr. Schar, then what's the point of them? So Schar obviously is his big thing is he's a ball playing centre back himself. We know he's incredible at that. He has a very progressive approach. So he initiates our attacks, especially his switch balls. We know that meaning switch balls. So we see often him being able to hit those diagonals. Think of that, those diagonals from his right foot to the left side. You know, those big, those pinging passes to Gordon or to Joe Linton, especially. He's become really, really good at that. Always been good at that. Excuse me. He's an aggressive defender. Schar. People might not think of it, but he actually presses up really, really high for us. The problem is obviously he's older, and his speed. And this is where Collins' athleticism, his speed and his recovery pace would help him to be an upgrade on Schar on that. Schar's strengths and impact on the team. So his pressing range his passing range, his ability to complete accurate long balls, his switches, his passes over the top, stretches opposition defenses, aiding us in our attacks. His defensive awareness, his high anticipation. So he might not be the greatest in his duel winning, but it's his anticipation that really helps Schar. And in recovery rates, leads Newcastle in interceptions, and he provides stability and his kind of ability to regain possession. He's also a goal threat. We know that he's able to contribute to us offensively with his powerful shots and set pieces, boosting team morale and output, team impact. So he enhances our possession play and defensive resilience, critical. And we can tell when for instance, if it's just Schar and Burn at the back, it changes everything in our build-up play. Bruno has to drop deep a lot. Our entire midfield often has to keep on facing our back line and kind of wait for the ball or have to drop deep to collect the ball, leaving gaps between them and in our attack. And that's when everything becomes a little bit more disjointed. It's harder for us to build out our play, and we get caught out by teams. So Schar is so important to that. But Schar also has a partner, and that is Mr. Botman himself. So how Schar and Botman's partnership complement each other, and obviously think of Mr. Collins in this. So they have a contrasting style. So Schar's progressive, interception-heavy approach pairs with Botman's aerial dominance and tackling focus. The balance is obviously Schar operates on the right, leveraging his passing while Botman anchors the left with his physicality and ball retention. Chemistry. Schar's experience guides Botman. It's not people keep on saying it's Botman holding Schar's hand. It is the opposite way around. In my opinion, whose youth and athleticism cover Schar's pace limitations, forming a robust unit. Now, Nathan Collins doesn't have an issue with pace. System fit. Together, they support Newcastle's aggressive fullbacks, with Schar covering wide and Botman holding centrally. And obviously, we've seen ourselves, because of Schar's lack of pace, yes, he's very good in interceptions and anticipating things. But once he gets turned or quicker attackers get past him, it's very, very difficult for him to kind of recover. And that's where you get some of the athleticism of Mr. Collins or just defenders in general that help with that. So what do Newcastle need? And this is in the back of Joe Pearce's work. So to complement Botman. So we need a right-footed centre-back, obviously Nathan Collins. Progressive passing, must replicate Schar's ability to play long, accurate passes, support Newcastle attacking in transition is vital for us. Because Botman he can do that, but he's not the same as Schar. Athleticism, we need pace, we need stamina, and we need someone who's able to cover the channels and recover quickly, addressing Schar's age-related mobility, which we talked about. And obviously someone who's defensively versatile, so should be able to handle one-on-one situations and aerial duels, complementing Botman in those areas. And we want something that's youthful, but also has first-team experience, of which Nathan Collins, in my opinion, has. So we talked about Nathan Collins. In his profile, Nathan Collins is he has that versatility. He excels in ball playing and defensive solidity. He can shift to fullback if needed, so he can play at right centre back as well, or right back, excuse me, as well, which will provide really good cover. So you can have Botman in the middle, Burn on the left, Mr. Collins on the right as well. So he can play in the back three, but also play at right back, which helps us. His strengths are his physically dominant, so he already fulfills the requirements. 6'4". He wins 68% of his aerial duels. It's phenomenal. Same as Mr. Botman. His elite ball progression, 56% passes, out of 90, 84% accuracy. Finesse the long balls is top tier. He leads the line for blocks as well, so he leads the block. So he's really good at anticipating when attackers are going to shoot. He's really aggressive in his 1v1. He's a very aggressive 1v1 defender, which is what Newcastle need. Is 1.6 interceptions, so he can do what Schar does in interceptions as well. And obviously, he's physical, tall, strong, mobile. He's been playing he played just less than 2,000 minutes for Brentford last year. He's played every game this year. He's available. Availability is the best ability, as they say. He was Brentford's Player of the Year last season as well. Fit for Newcastle. So Nathan Collins could anchor Howe's defense with his aerial prowess. So just like what Botman does, they can rotate between each other doing that. His passing range is very good, and front foot style rivals Schar Botman with durability. He has the limitations, and Aaron talked about this as well. Aaron Cave talked about this. He is occasionally over aggressive, and asked Joe Linton about that. He has got a red card versus Man City in 2022. It's a little while away. Conservative play curbs his best traits. But yeah, if you take away the aggression, it kind of curves his best traits about him. I'm gonna go to the chats at the moment, but I wanted to be able to also, I wanted to compare Collins directly with Schar. I'm going to use Squawker to do that. I'm going to do that with other centre backs as well. Let's get on it. Where are you, Squawker? But let me know what you guys think so far. Here we go. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. So I think Mr. Collins is an upgrade on Schar so far. But in what way? So I've matched them in their 23-24 seasons, Nathan Collins and Fabian Schar, because they both played, Collins played 32 games, Schar played 36 games. So I did it per 90. So I think that's the first thing to say, rather than the 24-25 season, because the season isn't over just yet. So I wanted to match them up from their last season. So far, we can obviously see Schar's dominated the open play passes completed. And I want folks to remember that Brentford's style of play is evolving. They were previously a very direct team, and they've obviously we've read the profile on Bournemouth style of play. They now are trying to be a hybrid team where they've gone from, they can do the direct style of play, but they can also be a bit more possession based. So that might account for why Collins' open play passes are a little bit below the percentage of Fabian Schar, but it also can account for the fact that maybe Schar is just better. But not by too much. His passing accuracy is 2%, about 2% higher, 83% Fabian Schar. His long pass accuracy is significantly higher than Nathan Collins is. So it'd be interesting to know, is that a quality thing, or is it just that, would it improve if he's with Newcastle? That would be a good kind of thing to understand. But Fabian Schar's long ball passing is absolutely better. And I think looking at FB Ref, his switch passing is elite, Fabian Schar. So we might be losing out a little bit on there if we get Nathan Collins's to do the passing part. But where he does dominate is his take on success. Essentially take on meaning that, and again, every website is different. So that's the player's ability to take the ball. Some sites have it 5 meters, 10 meters and above. So how successfully does he do that? Nearly 20% higher than Schar. He's at 80%, 84%. And maybe that's the difference. Whereas Schar does the passing, Collins can drive up with the ball and help us open up teams that way. Aerial dual success, 67%, nearly 20% higher than Schar. Ground dual success, percentage success at 66%, is 16% higher than Schar. And that's where his clearances, 4.4, interceptions, even higher than Schar's as well. So that's where you can see the dominance of Collins and Schar. So Schar on the passing side of things, a little bit more dominant, and Collins on the kind of the take-ons, the ability to bring the ball out of defense, using his feet, but also the ground duels and the aerial duels where you can see it as well. Schar has a little bit more touches, 75.4 compared to Collins is 66.1. But again, I think the bottom stats kind of boil down to style of team styles, and I think if Collins was to play for Newcastle, those stats will be a little bit higher, especially on the touches, I mean. So that's Nathan Collins, guys. Let me know what you guys think before we move on to the next guy. My initial thoughts are he would be an upgrade. Significant upgrade in athleticism, physicality, technical ability on the ball. Well, no. In his ability to bring the ball out. I think we'll lose a little bit on the passing, especially the long passing. But we'll gain in his take-ons and his ability to his 1v1s, in his recovery pace and his aerial duels. I wonder if we can improve on his long ball passing. He's still quite young. So yeah, me personally, I wouldn't be upset if we got Mr. Collins to join Newcastle United. But let me know what you guys think. Wobojo, good to see you, sir. God bless you. I know there's a Dutch centre back that will be available this summer on a free transfer. Mr. Van Dijk, just saying, PIF can make a statement with that. Yes, we could. And I hate to say this, but it won't be a long-term statement. And I think Newcastle need a long-term set. And I think Van Dijk is an all-timer, but with all-timers who've done everything, it's hard for me to see him wanting to start that again with another team. Onaya, Scouse head loss of the century. It would be indeed. But guys, let me know what you guys think of Nathan Collins. Let me know what your thoughts on Nathan Collins. So I think he would be an upgrade, and I wouldn't mind on Schar in different elements as well. And I think there's a lot for how to work on. I'm not surprised that Newcastle are looking at him, in my opinion. Right, so we're going to move on to our next centre back. We've got one chat here, Onaya. I like the look of Collins, sort of like a Dan Burn buy. Sort of, I agree to an extent. Obviously, he's in his like aerial duels, but I think unlike Dan Burn, he's got more pace. He is he's better in his 1v1s. He's versatile. So he's better. He can play on the right back role as well. So I don't see us getting caught out as much on the break, on the transition to teams as well. So yeah, I think he'd be a good decent upgrade. I think he will be a decent upgrade. Right. Next up for Newcastle, we have. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Mr. Dean Huijsen, obviously the talk of the time, the talk of the Prem, the talk of the Premier League. Fabrizio Romano, and it's not just Fabrizio Romano, it's been Mark Douglas from the I newspaper, identifies two big obstacles in the way of Newcastle United signing a £50 million a Premier League star, Dean Huijsen. That's obviously he wants Champions League football. And this was back in, this is March, this is today's, But Fabrizio has been linking Dean Huijsen to Newcastle from February, I noticed as well when I was doing my research. So it's not a new link. And he has caught the attention of a lot of clubs, Mr. Dean Huijsen. And why is that? Let's go into it. Let's get his profile up. This is Dean Huijsen now. Let me get this there. Make sure you guys can see that. Yes, you can. All right. So, Mr. Huijsen. Rubbish. Okay, here we go. Guys, see that? Yes, you can. Here we go. He's 19 years of age. So yeah, he's 19 years of age, Mr. Huijsen. He turns 20 in August. Very, very young. He was born in Amsterdam, but his citizenship is in Spain. He's 1.97, 1.97 meters tall. So he's even taller than Mr. Collins. Even though when I see them on TV, it doesn't look like it, but he's massive in height. I think it's because he's so lean and so wiry, but he's even taller than Mr. Collins. He's both-footed, guys. He can literally play left back or right back. It's almost impossible to tell which foot he is. He's both-footed, which is incredible. His contract with Bournemouth runs out in 2030, right? But we know he's valued at 42 million euros. We know he has a release clause of 50 million pounds. So that's, essentially that's going to be the big, whoever triggers that release clause is going to be able to talk to him. He has a very good international record. It's interesting though, he's been playing for Netherlands from the under 17s to the under 19s before he switched to Spain, and he's playing for the under 21s and is now in their senior squad as well. And I think he did a great assist to Lamine Yamal. It's incredible. Like, obviously, both countries have incredibly talented players. And obviously, Van Dijk plays for Holland. So I don't know whether Dean Huijsen saw it as, I'm interested to know why he switched countries. But maybe it just feels more affiliated to Spain. I don't know. But yeah, really, really good. And he maybe thought he won't get ahead of Van Dijk. I don't know. Now his playing career, as we mentioned earlier, he was playing for Malaga in 2021 before he went to the Juventus under 17s, and he progressed with Juventus under 17s to the 17s to the 19s. This is Juve next gen. I have to do my research on what that is. Before he went to kind of graduated to their first team. I don't think he played too many games for Juve. I'm going to check that out in a moment. But then obviously from Juve he went to Roma for 10. He went to Roma on a loan, before that was stopped. That before he went to Bournemouth for 15 million pounds, which seems like an absolute steal. We'll see the games he's played so far. He's done 2,000 minutes so far this season, 300 minutes in the FA Cup, possibly more if they beat Man City, but also obviously about 1,600 minutes in the Premier League. So those 23 games are all the Premier League experience that he has so far. So let's see how many games has he done in like at first team level. Obviously 23 games in the Premier League. He has done 27 games for Bournemouth. Juve next gen. It can't be Juve. It's Juve's next gen. So I don't know if he's done 30 games for them. So I think, So Bournemouth is his first real senior appearance. Because I remember Marino talking about this. He only did like 10 minutes for Roma, and when he made an appearance for them. So he done 14 games for Roma. And he played for Roma, got 2 goals and 1 assist for them before obviously going to Bournemouth, where he's played 27 games. So roughly 40 senior games as well. But he's got huge potential. I'm going to read a scout report. I'm going to read your chats first. But I'm reading the scout report I'm reading from is when he was 18. I wanted to read that one instead of the new stuff because I feel that gives you kind of a raw information of how he is as a player, especially in his early days. So let me see what you guys are saying in the chats. Wobojog, I wonder how he compares to Van Heck profile, price, stats wise. Are you talking about Collins or Wobojog? You might be talking about Collins. That is a good question, though. It's a good question. Sophie B, I don't mind Collins, but to be honest, I think we could do better looking in Europe. And fair enough. Fair enough. That's possibly likely. Yes to Huijsen, yes. Tell me why, Sophie. Tell me why. Aaron Kane, Huijsen just looks Madrid bound to me. Yeah, the way he's speaking about them. Yeah, I can see what you mean, Aaron. Yeah, he's looking like a Michael Elise case to me. Bobby Fairview, good to see you. So God bless you. Big up, Philip. Finally arrived. Glad to catch the end of the show. Hope you're doing well, brother. Please bless up the chat. Yes, sir. We're probably in the middle of the show rather than the end, so you've got us a good time. Unless Madrid gets Saliba, that would be something, isn't it? Good one, Sophie. Aaron K. Think we should go for his teammate Zabani, but that Bournemouth would sell both centre backs. He is a younger Fabian Schar. Yeah, I agree. Having two centre backs that can play with both feet would be elite. It would be phenomenal. It would be absolutely phenomenal. Sophie B, I much prefer Huijsen over Sabani, but wouldn't mind Sabani. Huijsen just has a much higher ceiling. He has a phenomenal ceiling. But Bobby Fairview, my God, Jose Mourinho said since his Roma days that Huijsen is he did. I saw that he's one of the future. And he's been proven absolutely right. Aaron Cape, I think Huijsen is predominantly comfortable on the left because he's left-footed. That's why I prefer Zabani. I understand who's at right centre back, but I can understand why he would go for Huijsen, quality player. Absolutely. He was alone at Juventus, wasn't he? He was. I don't think he got to play. I don't understand what is in transfer market. That thing about Juve next gen that throws me off. Wobojok, yes, compared to Collins. Thanks for that, Wobojok. Yes. Collins compared to Van Heck. I like Van Heck as well. All right, so let me just read his scouting report. And again, it gives you a good taste of Dean Huijsen. This is and again, this was done in. Right, so this was done in. Oops, sorry. This was done in. He was still young. 2023. So this was 2 years ago when he was about 17, 18 years old. I wanted to get this because I thought it was a really, really good, interesting scout report done by Jacek Kulik. And this is when I think he joined Juve. Yeah, he's joined Juve. So Huijsen is a centre-back who has spent the last 3 seasons in the Juventus youth ranks. He represents a Dutch national team with a dual citizenship when he was still playing for Holland. He's 18 years of age and was valued at 400k at the time. So physically, he's 1.9 centimeters, 1.95 centimeters tall. He's grown 2 centimeters since then. Skinny, even in his legs. In terms of acceleration, he can close down gaps quickly. When he gets going, he's tough to shake off the ball, a result of excellent balance. So he doesn't look necessarily physically imposing, but he's very good. His vertical jump is great. His vertical jump is great despite his height negating the end of it. With regards to stamina, he seems great, finishes 90s with ease and manages his energy really efficiently in the game. Running when he has to and jogging otherwise. There's no obvious decline in his quality of his actions. So physically, he's very, very good. In possession, with the ball, Huijsen has some qualities that make him a desirable addition to any team, to any system. First of all, he's completely two-footed. In terms of relying breaking passes, long balls, tackles, he can do it with both his feet. This is why he's so desirable. He's so desirable. Although he seems more comfortable tackling with his left, when the ball, as Aaron pointed out, when the ball is at his feet, he likes to progress it with vertical passes to the interiors. So balls over the top. And this is what Newcastle, this is Fabian Schar like. Oftentimes, even aiming for the higher player, like the 10 to set up an up back combination, which we saw against for Lamine Yamal. He's shown an ability to play all kinds of passes, be it chip passes to the midfielder or fullback cross-field pings. He's like a Sergio Busquets in a centre back. He's shown an ability to play all kinds of passes, be it chip passes. Yep, read that part. Helps him. He's crossfield pings, quick short passes under pressure before receiving the ball. The Dutchman makes sure to scan and plan his next move, which makes him go from good to great, which helps him by playing quick passes to the free player. He's also great at carrying the ball, reminiscent of John Stones. The way he speeds up and slows down while gliding with the ball, a good sense of when to contact the ball. So he's excellent on the ball, and he plays a little clip there. Oops, sorry. So you can see him there picking it up. This is him taking it out. Look at that. Hi. Guys, he's incredible. Look at that. On the ground, picking up again. Right foot this time. Pings it over to the left. Again with the right foot. They can't even, he goes right for the middle. Look at that for a ball. Unbelievable. Lovely, lovely, lovely player. Lovely player. Oh, I got out of there. So this is what they were talking about. I can't understand why Juve didn't play him. Again, out of possession, Huijsen, make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. Out of possession, he's like a vacuum machine. From minute 1 to 90 minutes, he snuffs out any potential threats that enter the zone. He's quick to track runners, likes to get tight in order to use his body. At times, he gets turned quite easily because of his skinniness, despite making no technical mistakes. The centre back is constantly scanning with the ball, anticipating potential threats like a pass between the lines or a cutback. Oh man, he's amazing, and adjusting his body accordingly. His turning speed and recovery pace mean even if he makes a mistake, he still has a high chance of rectifying it. Long legs also give him much more reach when he makes tackles. So even if they get past him, not only is reading the game is excellent, but even if they get past him, he's got the athleticism to get back. Focusing on 1v1s, Huijsen has shown room for improvement in this aspect. And that's true. And obviously that's where the first team play comes into play. This is before he starts, obviously, played for Roma and everybody else. He can be very square in his body orientation at times. And he also, if you guys remember, what's the guy that Van de Ven? So people remember that famous picture of him when he fell over. It's because he's against Isak. It's because he's square. He always gets outdone. So that's the thing that maybe Huijsen has to watch out for. He also likes to get close to the player, which is not necessary given his range of when tackling. This can result in tricky winners slipping past him. I'm sure this has improved now. With regards to tackle success rate, he makes contact with the ball more often than not, going down, but he needs to refine his accuracy in order to clearly win the ball in danger. In addition, he should improve his 1v1 technique in terms of showing the attacker to the weaker foot or worse, pace. So I'm not going to read all of it, but some really, really good stuff there. The future, now I wanted to finish on this, the future for Dean Huijsen. This is before he went to Roma, before he went to Bournemouth, and before he's become the superstar that he's becoming now. As I said, he reminds me of two technical English centre-backs, Ben White and John Stones. And essentially, they said two English centre-backs in his ability to play on the touchline and overlap and his ability to drive with the ball centrally. Considering his two-footedness and aerial dominance, you have a centre-back who can fill out any backline role. Considering his two-footedness and aerial dominance, you have a centre-back... where is he? You can fill out any backline role from deep block centre back to overlapping fullback. Wow. So Livermore and Hall have to watch out as well. Inverted FB, LCB, CCB, right centre back, you can do it all. A joker card in the defensive half of the pitch. If you have a hole in your defence, he's malleable enough to mimic its shape and fill that gap. But what about the number 6 role? Tonali. Well, it's difficult to judge because there's no footage of him receiving in the 6 zone or receiving the type of passes a 6 would receive. Playing facing your own goal is a different game entirely. That plus the different running economy and defensive responsibility make it tough to extrapolate his skill set to that role. Although, given what I've seen of him from ball carrying, pass variety, cognitive speed, physical speed, anticipation. So cognitive speed means speed of thought. If he could adapt as a 6, that would be the role where his qualities are maximized. A Dutch Declan Rice. Oh, this is from 2 years ago. Excellent scouting report, by the way. He's been proven right on a lot. He's been this gentleman, Jacek. This is Jacek Kuleg. He's been proven right on a lot of Mr. Huijsen. So let me play. I was going to play a few footages of. Let me play because I want to see him now. Obviously, we saw him when we were talking about when he was 18. I'm going to play a few footages of him. Read your comments, and then we're gonna compare him on Squawka to Mr. Fabian Schar. So let me get us on this. Oh, take a look at the sound. So he's been on Brazil Scout. So this is on Brazil Scout. We love them. They compare him to Hummels, Matt Hummels, Toby Alderwood, for those that remember, and Jonathan Tah, all modern playing centre backs. Oh, here we go there. Obviously, him playing for Bournemouth. Look at that. So he's taking that passing with him. Let's see. This is just a year on. This is him central positions, taking up great positions again. This is him anticipating, cutting out passes. Marvellous. Obviously, him in the Premier League now. This is against Brighton. Look at that. Great anticipation, being in the right place, taking on the ball again. Passing range is insane. Right foot, left foot. Again, look at that chip pass. He's marvellous. Guys, I'm getting excited. Reading about him, I'm getting excited just watching him. He is fabulous. Crossfield pass. This is a switch play that Fabian Schar does for us all the time. It's easy work for this gentleman. Can also play the simple passes, him closing down. Love that closing down, by the way. Takes it on again, looks up. Look at that vision. Bang. And sets Bournemouth off again. He's fabulous, guys. He really is fabulous. He really is a fabulous at the back. Where is he here? Look at that. Another long ball. Great on the angle there. This is pressing up high. Keeping the ball of Xerxes. Xerxes massive. This is him closing down again. Sets off as well. This is the 1v1 stuff. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oof. Look at that. He's magnificent, guys. I could have dedicated the whole session, the whole show to him today. He's absolutely magnificent. So I'm going to compare him to Schar in a moment, but let me make sure that I read your comments first. Where are you? Is this for Schar? So I've got Collins there. Let me take off Collins. I did say at the beginning of the show, I know people get disappointed because of your Jarell Quansahs and your Nathan Collins because of Dean Huijsen. But now I feel like I've been emotionally attached to. Now that I've seen Mr. Huijsen again, I'm like, oh yeah, I can. Oh, if we get Dean Huijsen. It's not just Schar Schar's fine. He's older. He knows his time is coming to an end. But if you're Hall, if you're Lewis Hall, if you're Livramento, you're not going to be sleeping well at night. If you're Tonali, you might not be sleeping. Obviously, Tonali's Tonali, but That's the wrong one. That's the Roma days. So I'm going to compare Dean Huijsen 24-25 season to Schar's 23-24 season. Is that a fair comparison? No, I'll look at both of them this season. That makes sense to do both of them this season. Premier League 24-25. This is Bournemouth, so we'll get on it in time. But I'm going to read your chats. Yes, Premier League 24-25. All right, so let me get to the chats. Let me see what are you guys saying. You can well from the excitement in my voice, you already know. I'm sold. Sophie B. Scalvini from Atlanta. I haven't seen him play, but I hear so much good things about him. Would be a good signing for centre back as well. Rumored to be around 60 million euros for him this summer. Would you pay that? Would you pay that? Aaron Kane, does the Huijsen links mean the club don't have much faith in Botman long term? With his injury record this season and after that injury might not be the same player. I hope that isn't the case. It's an interesting point that you make, Aaron. I've always looked at whoever the centre back is. They are the upgrade to Fabian Schar and the long-term partner to Botman. And so that's, I think, but that is something to be aware of what you're saying as well. But that's my idea. It's to partner Botman yet. Next season, Schar's replacement. Yes. From Sophie B. Unai, I'm thinking title charge in 2 seasons if we land Huijsen. Wobojog, the way he strikes the ball for those long passes is almost Trent-like, but in a tour. That's a really good take. I don't disagree with you. Wobojog. Sophie B watched Huijsen a few times, looks a top centre back in the making. He honestly. No wonder Real Madrid are looking at him. Honestly, how I like centre back that can step forward. Look what Schar did against Arsenal in this. Yes, and Huijsen does that to a T. Wobojog, after this report is Halal Madrid. Sophie B, not if they fork out 100 million for a Saliba. They've got a choice. Madrid, get 50 million Huijsen now and miss out on Saliba, or wait for Saliba to run down his contract, because we know they don't like to play for pay. They like free transfers, don't they? Adrian Pickett, how likes centre back who can press the hell out of the opposition DMs. He does. Wobojog, LOL, they could, but would Arsenal would Arsenal accept 2 years on his contract? If they do, then what's that to stop Arsenal from going in for him? Exactly. They could go for Dean Huijsen themselves, isn't it? Wish we could get Huijsen when he was still at Juve. And that's the point that the article made. That's why we should have got hindsight's 2020 vision, but that's the point that Paul Mitchell's going to make when he's introducing to how these gems across Europe or even in the Premier League. Hey, this could be our next Dean Huijsen, even though we've never had Dean Huijsen. You've got a few people saying it's Madrid pound, £50 million release clause. Indeed, £50 million release clause. Oh no. Here we go. Kartik. Good to see you, Kartik. Madrid are interested in him. Yeah, big time. Big time. Wobojog, not sure if we can complete the salaries front. Pretty sure Arsenal work with a bigger budget there. They do, but I'd be interested to know what Huijsen, where is Huijsen at with it? Maybe I'm biased, but I'll go to Newcastle if I was him. And finally, Onaya, he won't win anything if he goes North London. I wanted to make sure I got that in there. Right, so let's compare him to Mr. Fabian Schar. Why does he have no FA Cup? That's FA Cup. No, it's Premier League. Premier League, right? Why has it got why has it not coming up from Fabian Schar here? Oh, it's come off now. It's annoying. So let's compare him to Fabian Schar before we move on to our last centre back. I might have to. Where are you? Can't spell Fabian. I can spell Schar though. Here we go. Excelente. It's going to take a minute though. Let's get Dean on there. Dean Huijsen. Is it Huijsen or Huijsen? I've seen people pronounce the name differently. Dean Henderson. No. Where are you? Here we go. And I have to do this. I have to do the things again. Everything's loading up. Okay, so let me, because last time I got the stats for, minutes, games, appearances. What did I do? Passing. I want to know about his, not overly interested in attempted passes, but I'll keep that on there anyway. Passing accuracy, long pass accuracy, through balls, passes completed in the opposition half, forward passes. I'll keep the backward and sideways passes. That doesn't really, not overly. Aerial dual success rate, ground dual success rate, take on success rate. That's what I'm interested in. Defending, goals conceded, that's the goalkeeping side of things. Interceptions, blocked shots, yeah, we're looking at those. I'll miss out the discipline. Right, so that's Huijsen and Roma. We don't want Huijsen and Roma. We want Huijsen in the Premier League, AFC Bournemouth. 24-25 season. Here we go. So first thing to note is that so they've both played 23-24 games. I'm going to do the per 90. Obviously, so Schar's played 24 games. Huijsen's played 23 games. That's fine. Let me see how many minutes do they play. I wonder how often Huijsen gets substituted, because it's interesting because they both played, Schar's played 24 games, Huijsen's played 23 games, but Huijsen's on nearly 1,700 minutes, whereas Schar's on 2,000 minutes. So I think, obviously, he's young and they're looking after him, which is the right thing to do from Iriola. But again, Schar is so durable, it's amazing. So passing accuracy, Schar's on 84.15% this so far, 24-25 season. Huijsen beats him to 84.27%. But you see how similar they are. Long pass accuracy, Schar's on 42% so far this season. Obviously, last season he was on 50%. This season, long pass accuracy, Dean Huijsen on 52% pass accuracy. Passes in the opposition half, Schar's on 16.1. Huijsen's on 19.8. He beats him there. I'm not going to look at the aerial success rate. Again, Schar's dual success rate aerially is 35%, very low. Dean Huijsen's on nearly 60%. I think it's about 3. I'm going to compare it to Nathan Collins in a moment as well. So, yeah, Huijsen beats him on ground duels, beats him significantly on aerial duels, beats him in interceptions, 2.3 compared to Schar's 1.5 per game. Block shots, beats him again. He's like the upgrade on the upgrade, Mr. Huijsen. He's amazing, guys. Like, he's amazing. Like, I haven't got the words for him. I think he's great. But let me know what your thoughts are, Mr. Huijsen. If Newcastle get Mr. Huijsen, that would probably I will go. Yeah, probably. I'll say it earlier. I'll probably be the signing of this. That'll be the marquee signing for us. In my opinion. I've missed a few. RoboJog. Excuse me. Stats are facts. My only concern is how much does the style of play a team has affects or skews the numbers. Well, Bournemouth and Newcastle have a very similar style of play, both direct, both high intensity. Between us, Bournemouth, Liverpool, we most closely resemble Liverpool. So that's why you see how going for those type of players who play for teams that have a very similar style of play to us. So yes, I haven't got an issue with it, with the stats in that regard. Wilbur Jog, Tino, Huijsen, Botman, Hall and Trafford, that's a top four competing defence. I agree. I absolutely agree. So let me move on to the final. After I should have put Dean Huijsen last, because I think anything from now, I think folks are going to be like, he's not Dean Huijsen, is he? But we must look at alternatives. Well, not alternatives, we have to look at our players. Jarell Quansah, who has not taken the fan base by storm. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because of Dean Huijsen. And it's unfortunate, because I think Quansah has some good attributes that would suit Newcastle. So Newcastle transfer update. Newcastle, this is obviously from Ben Palmer, but I think the main news came from Mr. Hardy from the Times newspaper. So a lot of the quotes are coming from there. And essentially, I couldn't find it. It's so annoying. But essentially, Mr. Quansah is Newcastle are looking to get Mr. Quansah for 30 million plus add-ons. So Hardy went quite a further step, where he was saying, yeah, Newcastle are already talking fees with Liverpool for Quansah, which is interesting. A lot of other journalists have been quite reserved in their kind of takes around any centre backs for Newcastle. Obviously, we all know the fee for Huijsen. That's well documented. But in terms of Quansah, Hardy went a step ahead, and it's interesting. I don't think that was a Newcastle source that would have leaked that to him. To Hardy, so it makes me believe that it was probably someone from Quansah's side, or maybe from Liverpool's side, and are possibly trying to sell the player. But at the same time, Hardy would have had to ask for confirmation from somewhere, maybe a Newcastle source, and before he went to print. So it'll be interesting to see if any of that information has been knocked down. I know some people are probably wishing that it is. But let me quickly go into Quansah. And there's not too much, because there is something. I feel for him, because I think Dean Huijsen has grabbed everybody's, what's the word? Inspired everybody, taken everybody's attention. But let's do it anyway. Let me get a drink of water. I'll do Mr. Quansah. Because people have been talking about getting a Dean Huijsen before he's the Dean at 12 million, before he's Dean Huijsen at 50 million. And so when I look at Jarell Quansah, I have that same kind of perspective. Could he be, that gem that Mr. Mitchell was talking about? And obviously, he was initially spotted by Mr. Howe. So let's see where we're at. So he's 22 years old. He turned 22, Quansah, in January. So he's very, very young. He's at 1.9 meter 90. So he's again shorter than Huijsen, but I say shorter. He's at 6'3". He's still massive. He looks massive in terms of frame and everything else. Again, versatility. He could be playing centre back, but can also play right back as well. He's right-footed. I don't know if you guys have I talked to you guys before. This agency, CAA Base. Whenever I need to note this down, but I can't remember who said it. I want to say maybe Sean Casey. Somebody said, look out for the agencies. And I think Newcastle are doing a lot of work with this agency, CAA. We've been linked to a lot of players. I need to do like a board. Every time Newcastle are matched with a player, how many of them belong to CAA agency? CAA based LTD, excuse me. His contract, Quansah, runs out in 2029, and Liverpool have a 1-year option to extend. He's currently valued at 22 million euros by transfer market, which is around what, 19 million pounds. But Liverpool are talking about 30 million pounds, which is not unusual, plus add-ons as well. So it's an interesting fee. I imagine those add-ons will be around appearance and everything else. I want to give a brief background on Quansah because I did read his profile. He's been at Liverpool since he was, I know this is obviously his professional career here, but he's actually been at Liverpool since he was 5 years old. He's from Manchester originally, obviously Warrington, but he's been at Liverpool since he was 5 years old. Obviously went up from their youth ranks, Liverpool youth, to the 18s, all the way to the under-23s, before he was loaned out to Bristol Rovers, where he played for Mr. Joey Barton. We all remember him, obviously. Helped us win promotion, went down with us and helped us win promotion. So God bless him for that. Despite what people might think of him outside of football. Under 21s Liverpool before Liverpool as well. So he is also been playing for England from the under 15s all the way up to the under 21s. He's yet to make a senior appearance for England as well. So he's got good pedigree. Obviously, Liverpool Academy since the age of 5, playing for England as well, waiting for his senior start. Obviously, he's going to have to make senior starts in the league before he does that. But speaking of the league, it was last year that he came to fruition. So he can play centre back and right back. It was last year that he really came about. He's so far made 55 appearances for Liverpool, most of them off the bench. He scored 3 goals and made 3 assists as well. Let me see what the minutes are for this. Liverpool through, isn't he? So in the Premier League, 23-24 seasons where he made the majority of his starts. He did 1,100 minutes where he did around 17 appearances for Liverpool. This year has been significantly less, where it's been 10 appearances and 286 minutes. I don't know whether that's, I'll check his injury record in a moment. I don't know whether that's due to injuries or obviously not Newcastle. Liverpool have been in the title race and obviously playing in Europe and places like that, but they've been in the title race. Liverpool are very likely to win it. So obviously with Van Dijk and Konate ahead of him, plus Gomez, he's been finding it hard to win a place in Newcastle's, in Liverpool's defensive line. No one's going to take Van Dijk's place and no one's going to take Konate's place. So I don't blame them. So his appearances have been very, very scant, to be fair to him. And if folks say, oh, that means he's not good, I disagree. No one's going to take over from Van Dijk and no one's going to take over from Konate. Plus, Lewis Miley has played less than 500 minutes for Newcastle this season. And that's because he's got Bruno Gomes and Tonali ahead of him. So I want to point that out. And I think maybe the reason why Quansah had more minutes last year was possibly because Konate had been injured. And now that Liverpool are very much scheduled to win the Premier League, I wonder if he's going to get more time and more minutes with Liverpool as well. So he also captained England under 18s from what I remember. No, or captained not England under 18s, Liverpool under 18s as well. I think he won the Youth FA Cup with them as well. So he's got some real leadership qualities and they've marked that out in his profiles as well. I want to point that out. I'm going to go straight to, did I have, before I go to his comparisons, I'm gonna show his a little bit of his clips first. I had some stats on him, but I had a profile of him I wanted to read out. Where's his profile? He is a ball playing centre back. He's very much a modern day centre back. Where is it? I had it on him. Yeah, here we go. So let me just share this before I play his clip. Let me get this first. Present before I show you guys. Right, so he is. This is when he was 20 years old. I forgot what scout report I got it from. I want to say The Athletic. So he's a concise play report of Jarell. So he's and obviously he's 21 years old now. Position centre back, style gritty yet cultured defender, combining physicality with technical ability. So he's very much a ball playing centre back. You're going to see that from the clips. Progressive passer, comfortable breaking lines of forward thinking distribution. Schar. Composed under pressure, showcasing game intelligence and athleticism. Excellent. Key strengths, high potential. So he has a high ceiling, guys. Praised by his coaches, Jurgen Klopp, even Trent Alexander. Strong mentality, evidenced by his impactful Premier League debut. He made his debut against us. Technical proficiency, highlighted by moments of his line-breaking passes, which he did against us. Background, he had a loan spell in Rovers under Joe Barton. Stand-up performer at the under-20 at the under-20 World Cup with England. So that was with England, starting all 4 games. He's described as a fabulous, humble, and coachable by ex-England coach Ian Foster. He's expected to grow stronger and faster with more senior appearances per Joey Barton. So yeah, Joey Barton was quite positive on him as well. So very much an English centre back, but with the technicality, strength, pace, power. I want to show a clip of him as well. Really raw potential. I view him as, if Jarell played for, I don't know, Brighton, or not Brighton, but someone lower down the Premier League this season, there's a potential that he'll be worth a lot more than, he'll be talked about possibly as a Dean Huijsen and others. So I'm seeing Jarell as this is like I said, a Dean Huijsen at 12 million, Mark Gahey at 10, 15 million before he went to Crystal Palace. That's how I'm seeing him. So let's have a clip of him. This is especially 23-24 season where he had a lot more games. Let's see. So oops, sorry guys, that's up there. That's him winning the ball up high. This is him running in. He's got like a midfielder qualities about him, and I think a lot of centre backs nowadays, Lewis Hall springs to mind. Well, fullbacks and centre backs have midfielder qualities. This is him on the ball, take-ons, being able to get past people. Excellent. Again, look at how high he's pressing, winning the ball, good anticipation. 1v1 defensive duels, really good. Goal scorer as well. Scored 2-3 goals for Liverpool as well, which is good return for him. Lots of headers, great header there, fantastic. Against Villa, that's a fantastic header. Lovely take. Again, look at that. First touch, second touch, boom. Brilliant, brilliant. Look at that long ball passing, very, very accurate, chip passing. Takes on this right there, gets past one defender. Again, the quality to take it out from the back. So I imagine his take-ons must be not too bad. Look at that. Good English tackles. Oh, gosh. These adverts are so super annoying. Again, anticipation, 1v1 duels, winning up high, looking it up. Look at that. Turn. Boom. That's past Clivert, but he did the Clivert on Clivert. Past Justin Clivert there. Really good on the ball. Some good technical qualities there. Again, chip pass forward, not chipped. Vertical pass forward. Good anticipation there. Cutting out the crosses. Clearance is good. Solid player. That's why I'm not really as down on people. The problem is Dean Huijsen. The problem is like everyone's mind is on Dean Huijsen. But if we said Dean Huijsen last year, nobody would have said anything. Wouldn't have said anything. And I'm looking at Jarell Miller with the same sort of mindset. Again, good take on with the right foot. He's not as bow-footed as Mr. Huijsen, obviously. Great. Where is he? Here we go. Good challenge there. Again, example of his long balls there. So again, good chip part forward. So look, what do you guys think of Mr. Quansah? I'm going to compare him to Schar before I get you guys' take. Now, I'll read the comments. Let me line it up first because it takes a while on scorecard. You have to have everything right. Is this it? Yeah, here we go. Then I'll compare them all to Fabian. Then I'll compare Collins, Dean Huijsen to each other, and Mr. Jarell Quansah. All right, so let's get Jarell out. Let me know what you guys think of Jarell. I haven't done him the service because I couldn't find. I really like Jarell. I do like Jarell, and I think if Newcastle are looking at him, it's because they're looking at him to mold him, and they see some raw talents there. I'm going to compare his 23-24 season because that's where he played the most games to Schar's 24-25. Is that fair? Okay, let's do Schar's 23-24 season as well. He would have played more games anyway. All right. Okay, so Schar played from the offbeat. Obviously, Schar's played 36 games, so I'm doing it per 90. He's played like more than 2 games, twice more games than Quansah. So we have to keep that in perspective. But this is per 90-minute stats. So in that time, obviously, Quansah's made more attempted passes. Passing accuracy is at 88%, whereas Schar's is at 83%. So again, at least in the minutes that he's been on the pitch, Quansah has shown really good passing accuracy. Passes in opposition half, 27.4. He's encouraged to do that with Liverpool. Have a very similar style to us. So he wins it on the passing opposition half, trying to get it to the forwards as quickly as possible. Forward passes at 29.6 as well. So really dominating those areas as well. Interestingly though, Fabian Schar dominates the take-on percentages, success percentages at 61%, whereas Quansah at 57%. So still high, but just lower than Fabian's. So I wonder again if all those things improve, the more games he's played. Aerial duels, 67%, similar to Collins and similar to but at least 17% higher than Schar's. Ground duel success at 59%, 9% higher than Schar's. Anticipation 1.3%. So really, really good stats there. He has obviously Schar's is still winning the long balls accuracy. That's the main part. But physically, technically, Quansah's he's got the better stats, but he's played twice less games at 17 as well. So you have to keep that in perspective. Obviously, he's younger and he's got a lot more to learn. So before I compare Quansah, Dean, Huijsen, and Collins, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Are you sold on Mr. Quansah? You might not be. Adrian Pickett, Thing is, are we going to play him at right as right centre back? Quansah, yes. Kartik, he needs to improve in the air. Quansah, do you mean Quansah Kartik? He's got a good percentage success rate, but you know, if you know more than if you've seen the scout report, do let me know. Aaron Kane, and if you just do let me know. Aaron Kane going for Huijsen to Quansah is like going from Eddie Howe back to Steve Bruce. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm gonna back Quansah, man. I like him. Unaya, bit harsh on Quansah. More like going back to party, okay, but not great. Better. Adrian Pickett, what's going on with Antonio Silva? Is he linked to a move to anyone? Good question. I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I think it's the price putting everybody off. World Jog, I personally think it will be difficult only for the reason Liverpool are light in defence of Trent leaving, and Robertson probably leaving. Gomez is a bit injury prone. I think they're looking at Gahey, and for instance, Ola Aina is on the free. Like that already covers a lot of business for them, and they're really good at handling selling kind of fringe players or youth players. So I can see them selling Quansah, to be fair. Aaron Kane, we need to expand the scope now, as we shouldn't be giving direct rivals money for their part players. For 30 million, we need someone better than Quansah. I don't mind kind of the money to Liverpool because they're going to make it anyway. So if they got a player that we want, we should. I wouldn't hold that against them. But are there better centre backs than Quansah? Probably. But I'm not sure people know. We can all say hand on heart, we know his ceiling, and that's where my kind of main kind of challenges for folks that don't rate him is that nobody can really say they know Quansah's ceiling. Onaya, his lack of aggression is my reason for saying no. For Quansah? Okay, that's an interesting take. I didn't know that he had that. I haven't really seen that on any of the reports so far, but maybe it's there. I haven't noticed, but possibly it's there. Joke, that's good business if they do that, to be honest. For Liverpool, yeah, it would be. So before we conclude the show, let me compare these guys together. So we've got Quansah. I'm gonna put Nathan Collins, and I'll put Dean Huijsen at the end. I'm gonna have Quansah's 23-24 season because he's got more minutes then. Excuse me. And I'm gonna compare Collins's and Dean Huijsen's 24-25 season. So make it a little bit more. Allow Quansah to match up a little bit. All right, so let's do this. Let's get this out there. Oh, that's Roma days. Let's look at Bournemouth days for Mr. Huijsen. Right, so excellent. Again, 23-24 season for Quansah, and this 24-25 season for both Collins, who's in the middle, and Dean Huijsen, who's on the right. Passes attempted, more for Quansah. Quansah also wins it on the pass accuracy at 88.76, where obviously the other guys are still high. Collins at 86, Dean Huijsen at 84%. Long pass accuracy, Huijsen dominates the other two by at least 6 or 7%. Collins is at 43%, and Quansah is at 44%, interestingly. But Quansah is ahead on the pass completion, forward passes and backward passes and sideway passes. I'm not really focused on those, but forward passes. Less so for Collins. at 19.8%. Huijsen's at 23.4%. Keeping in mind that Quansah's obviously had way less minutes than Dean Huijsen at this stage as well. But interesting to see. Take on success. Collins at 66%, a lot more higher than Quansah at 57% and higher than Dean Huijsen at 50%. Which is very, very interesting as well. So that shows his technical ability on the ball. I think all of them have technical ability in the ball. I think because Collins perhaps has a little bit less quality in the passing area, he probably relies on his ability to get past players and take ons as well than the other two. Aerial duels, aerial and ground duels. Quansah wins it on 67% for aerial and 59% for ground duels. He wins it over Collins, who's at 64 and 59% respectively. And Dean Huijsen's a little bit lower at 59, 52% as well. Interestingly, even though Huijsen is taller than both of them, the others are winning it a little bit more. Interceptions way higher for Huijsen. And that's because Huijsen is an interception machine. He's a vacuum cleaner, as they said. 2.3 interceptions per game, which is phenomenal. 0.9 for Collins. So maybe his anticipation needs to improve a little bit. And 1.3 for Quansah. Shots blocked is a lot higher for Collins in comparison to the other two. 1.3 for Huijsen, not too far behind, and 0.7 for Quansah. And that might be because obviously Liverpool have a much higher percentage rate on the ball. So guys, lots of mixed results there. I can see there's such different players. Who would you guys go for? Let me know. So let me read the comments before we wrap up. Jog, there has to be an Adam Wharton-like centre-back in Championship or League One. Kartik, Collins is a good player, but Huijsen has potential to be elite. I agree. And with that, I'm going to give my conclusion. All of these guys, all three players are raw talent, some more raw than others. I'll start with Quansah because we finished on him. I really believe that Quansah is a Dean Huijsen or a Mark Gahey at 10, 50 million pounds before they went to Crystal Palace or Bournemouth respectively. With that said, I wouldn't want to pay 30 million for him from Liverpool. Quansah has real good physical abilities, real good pace, good on the ball, and has obviously good pedigree playing for England from England under 15s, being at Liverpool from the age of 5, incredible. Nathan Collins, also international for Ireland, has about over 100 games experience in the Premier League, and he's not even 24 yet, which is very, very impressive. His physical is the physically dominant aerially and in duel wise. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. But he's not as good with the long passing range as your Fabian Schars, Dean Huijsen, or even a Quansah. So one day, if we have to adapt our, he's not bad. He's good, but he's not as good as them. Does that improve if he joins Newcastle? Will be mine. But there's a lot about Nathan Collins that ticks a lot of boxes. Dean Huijsen, I think, is going to be like a Michael Elise, where you're going to have a lot of real top elite clubs going after him. His scouting report, he's bow-footed, he's got physical attributes of an English centre back, but also got and technical quality of a John Stones. Both feet, his range of passing is phenomenal. His anticipation is incredible. You can see that for his interception rates, and he's only getting better and better. I would love Dean Huijsen at Newcastle United. I think that would be the summer marquee signing for Newcastle, especially if we get into the Champions League. So Dean Huijsen will be my first choice. Then it'll be Nathan Collins, and then it'll be Jarell Quansah. But that's where I'm at with it. But I think, as pointed out, there's a lot more talent in Europe, and we're going to be talking a lot more about them coming towards the summer as well. So, guys, do you let me know who you guys want me to look at for, like, kind of up, especially with any positions, but we're talking about centre backs today. Let me know who you want me to look at into next shows, and we'll be doing kind of our analysis then. So, number one, Dean Huijsen for me, then Nathan Collins, and then Jarell Quansah. But let me know what you guys think. Can I interest you in a cheaper option, Keo? No, but I appreciate you asking, RoboJog. Guys, you've been absolutely phenomenal. And I hope you have a great evening. Make sure, as always, you take care of each other, and may God bless you all. Take care, folks.